Hey everyone, Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. I hope you are doing great. Erwin sent me an email. It says, thanks Dave for the informative videos. I saw one of your videos titled, Don't Buy This Wayne Dalton Door Ever. And I know you mentioned the 9000 series, but I'm curious as to what your opinion would be on one of their higher end doors, like the 8300. So a higher end door, Wayne Dalton 8300. So far, I haven't seen bad reviews for it. And when compared to the Safeway, this is a key part, right? Safeway model 65, it seems to be a better value. Would you advise against purchasing the Wayne Dalton over the Safeway? Let's talk about it and get started. All right, so we're going to go kind of deep on this one. So, get your popcorn, okay? So, the 8300, right? And I would love to hear the seasoned vets or anybody that's got any kind of information that even if you don't think it's, that good, still put it in the comments. You know what I mean? It just might be something as minute as a bolt. But it might help somebody. You don't realize that because I can't cover every single thing in the video. But I'm going to give you what I know, my overall. So for one, right, with the Wayne Dalton, basically with the 83 and the 85 is a little different. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The 83, what kind of irks me a little bit, what we're looking at here is imagine you're looking at the side of the door, right? Like you're against the wall and you're sighting down it, kind of like a barrel, like down the side of the door. Not the face, not the front, down the side, the thickness of it. So the 83 is a little bit thinner. And with the 83 being a little bit thinner, they typically use this L-shape weather seal. I'm never a big fan of the L-shape weather seal. It works. There's really nothing. It works. You got to put it on, right? And I should have put there's a little flap sometimes or a little ledge that if you don't get it on right, it can look a little funny. Not bad. You probably wouldn't even know it if you're a customer. So I don't really like the L-shape bottom seal. It's just a little picky thing of me, right? And then if you go to install it, I got an arrow here. What I like to do is actually pull out the rubber. So this is actually, the piece you're seeing, this L shape, is actually the hard piece that they'd put on first. Then they're going to slide the rubber in. But typically it already comes with the rubber in it. You got to slide the rubber out, put the L piece on, the hard plastic on. And I like, especially if you're in a northerly climate where you get snow and ice and all that, I like to put a screw underneath of it into the door section. And I also like, they normally will just do the one in the back. They won't do the one in the front. But the problem is when the door goes up and it freezes, it'll pop. And it can eventually, it'll break or it gets brittle over the years. So the bottom seal I'm kind of funky about. I just get kind of irritated with it. I don't like the bottom seal. I wish Wayne Dalton would redesign something. And if they ever do, please reach out to me. I'd love to see it. I will come down and do a plant tour on the thing. But so I'm not a big fan of the bottom seal. Does it work? Yes. Some people, I don't know. Like I said, it's just an L shape. I like to make sure I put screws underneath up into it, and I like to put them on the backside. It's just one of those things. You got to poke holes in it. All weather seal basically on the bottom, the very bottom seal, all has some kind of holes on it. So let's check out the 85. We can talk about that next year. And again, here's the 85, right? And we're looking down the side. So this would be like the thickness. So the 85, what I like about the 8500 Wayne Dalton, it's a 2-inch thick door. I'm a big believer. I don't know what it is. Just over the years, I like 2 inches thick. Some of them do, inch and a quarter and inch and 3/4. They got all these weird. I just like a solid 2-inch thick door. I never am too concerned about the R value of it. They're pretty close. You know what I mean? You're losing leakage out the side seals and the bottom seal and cracks. Garage doors just don't seal up that well. It's kind of like, if you want your house to be more insulated, don't put less windows. Windows just leak, right? Inherently, that's just how they are. So I just like a solid, thick 2-inch door. So anywho, with the 2-inch thick door, what they do here is you can see it's a U shape, so it cups the bottom of the garage door. Now I've had a TS 200, right? More of a commercial at an old house of mine. And what I notice is when the rain, especially where you have it, unless you have like a good eave on the house or like gutters, the water will splash on the ground, hit the door, and it'll get captured in this cup shape thing here. And sometimes it just irritates. It's one of those things that's a nuance, right? Every time it would rain, and even I had a 2-foot eave on the front of my garage. It was an eyebrow. I would still get water. And then sometimes with the rain, if it's blowing, it'd hit the door and run down. Every time I lifted my door, the thing was always peeing. Now, most bottom seals do catch water, and they do, but this one would just pee, it seemed like, for hours. I mean, it would just always be over there trickling water out. And I was like, oh my gosh, how does it, you almost to get to that point, you think, I must have a water line leaking up there. I don't got no water lines up there. But, so the U-shape, kind of the same thing. I normally like to, for some reason, the U-shape, I don't believe comes with a seal already in it. You have to put the retainer piece on, the plastic one. And then I do the same, kind of put a screw underneath, and then I do one on the backside. I think the U-shape actually holds up better for wintertime and stuff like that. It kind of protects the door a little bit. But you have to remember, it also is kind of holding. It holds dirt. It holds water. It's just like the old cars, right? Over the fender wells, when they get dirt and going down 2 tracks and water, it might start rusting in the future. It's just, like I said, this is something that's very long-term. They're good doors. And so let's talk about a few more things here. So let's go through this. This is from the Garage Door Geek. He shows a little bit of this bottom seal, right? And this is the 8300. So I just wanted to kind of go through it. You're going to see the ledge in the back, right? And that's the plastic retainer. Then it has a rubber retainer below that goes in like a T-channel. But I just thought this was kind of good. We can talk about the doors too, the sections.
And the nice bright sensors, if I can block it, that blink when you break them. It's a good thing they did that, because I shot a video of this, I'll include it at the end, where this thing's lights flash when you go through the sensors. So I do like.
I want to stop it right here, but see right there at the very bottom, right there is that bottom seal. Now, I don't know. I can't really see that good, but that's where sometimes sometimes do you annihilate it? Do you kind of hit it hard with screws in the back? Normally you use the kind of the bigger screws that they give you with the garage doors. So you're poking holes in the back of the garage door, which is, if you're in a high kind of corrosive, you got salt and stuff like that, it's eventually going to rot out. It's going to rust away. It's going to fall, but all garage doors do at some point. But like I said, you just can kind of see the bottom seal.
Like these because they are a lot easier to see. One thing I don't like is these brackets. When I tried to mount this to the wall, the eye doesn't come.
Another good view here, right? We can see the rubber, and then we can see he's got it pinned. Sometimes I've actually had to notch this out, and this is kind of flaps. This is why I like to get screws sometimes up underneath here, because this is kind of a weak spot right here, that if this door freezes or water gets trapped, your concrete's not perfectly sloped, you're doing a retro, you know what I mean? Like, this is a weak spot to me right here. So it's something to think about, that weather seal. And I know I'm picky about my weather seal, but it's just me.
Come out past the track. So yeah, I resorted to drilling the concrete and putting in tap cons. Anyway, I gotta get the hell out of here. I'm exhausted.
So here's another thing with these. This is the 83, right? So the 83, I do believe the finish is better on the backside than the Safeway. Any Safeway door I've come across, they typically have like a gusset in the center that protrudes a little bit on a steel back door. It's not the end of the world. It's just they don't look as refined. And I think I got another clip for it to show you here. They just don't look as refined on the backside. Where if you're looking for like the man cave and it's got to be, it's got to look really sweet, well, then the 83 or the 85 would probably be the way to go. They got the ribs in the back. They just look, they're smooth. They're really nice on the backside. I think the front side is pretty much the same for a Safeway or a Wayne Dalton. I don't have nothing for the outside, especially if you're just doing something simple, white, tan, taupe, whatever, almond color for a garage door. I thought there was some good points in here. So this is it Bats Off Garage Door in Service. So let's check out his video here. I thought he had a few good points, and we'll talk about it.
All right, so you guys should notice a little bit of an update. This is the same garage that I've been doing videos in for the past, I don't know how many years. But if you'll notice, there's something a little different. So I ripped out the Wayne Dalton 9600 just for a couple reasons. They were starting to get a lot of wear and tear on them. Some of the hinges were starting to rust through, and I was never a fan of this integral strut design with the pinch guard hardware, the proprietary hinges. So I took these out, and of course, because I'm such a die-hard Wayne Dalton guy, I went with the Wayne Dalton 8500. This is Wayne Dalton's #1 residential door. It's a 16 R value, 2-inch thick sections, and one of my favorite attributes is the ribbed backer.
There you go. He talks about the rib backer, and I would agree. The backside of these doors are really clean. You know what I mean? So if you're looking for like an interior look, they're clean, they're nice. 2-inch thick door. He's right on. Like I said, it's a nice door. So the 85 is this model. So I kind of like, if you're already there, you just spend a little bit more, don't go with the 83, go with the 85.
14 gauge hinges, all wide body, commercial grade. A Wayne Dalton badge for you. Top fixtures. My spring assembly, things 192 wire, 2-inch ID, I believe maybe 25, 24 inches. So I went with a paired spring setup. If you ever got a garage door spring brake and it's on a single, the door is dead weight on the floor. At least if you have another spring there, you can still maneuver the door up if you have a vehicle that's trapped in here.
He's making a very valid point. That's why I like this video. 2 springs are always better than 1. For 1, 2, I can add to it. A pair of springs work in union. When you have 1 spring, it'll push always one way. So it's always putting pressure on the bearings, and it can kind of prematurely wear them out. And like I said, this is years down the road. But 2 springs are way better. And like he said, if 1 breaks, you got a code red emergency, like how my life always works, where you got to get the wife, you got to go to the doctor, you got something going on, right? You can still maneuver the door. But if you have 1 spring, typically when the spring breaks, boom, the cables come off, you're done for. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're kind of trapped.
Here. So the operators are the same. It's a LiftMaster 2500 DC belt drive. This is a 1265 LiftMaster machine over here. This is an old 90s machine, and this is another 1260 LM over here.
So we're going to kind of see from what he says here about the bottom retainer. He didn't put it on. It's overstepping. I'm not quite sure why. That's typically not a problem, but it's just, like I said, it's one thing that just kind of irritates me. Manufacturers, put your bottom seal on, man. You guys are in a nice warm building or got fans at least blowing on you or whatever it is. Put the bottom seal on. I don't like, I never see a advantage for me to put it on. Maybe because it doesn't have the crinkle on or something, but we're going to see his clip here, and he's got some issue going on. And the bottom seal is kind of bulky. So, but like I said, I've never really experienced it too bad. Not saying it can't happen though. Something's going on with maybe his bottom fixtures or something. So let's play it.
Little cable rub there. Now I do have to put my weather seals on. There was a problem when I put the
See up here, there's no bottom seal. I can tell that's a plain door, especially for being a Wayne Dalton. You didn't put the retainer, you don't have the rubber on. So this is just a panel basically hitting the ground. No weather seal on the bottom. No black seal.
These doors up, and I put the retainers on the bottom. The sections were overstepping from the header. So I'm going to figure out what to do with that. So for now, I just, it's a bare panel without a strip on the bottom. I'll take care of that soon.
Other than that, beautiful section. Like I said, it's a beautiful garage door. I love the fact that he's got a good, we call it a GDO bracket, garage door opener bracket on here to distribute the weight out. It's got a strut on there. The hinges have always been nice. Nylon rollers is the way to go. 2 springs. I mean, on a small door, rock on, man. Love it. So I figure we can kind of wrap it up with the Safeway Model 65. I don't deal with a ton of Safeway. I've touched them before. They're kind of more of a kind of get her done, kind of garage door to me. They're maybe just not as refined on the back side anyways, but the front side of the garage door, I never had any problems. Like we're going to see the one in the picture here. It's a beautiful garage door. There's nothing wrong with it. I just think they're a little bit more on like the, maybe not the, stallion of a horse, but a little bit on the mule side. They get the job done. They're a little beefy. They're just kind of workhorses. So this one's from 5-star doors, and you can always check him out. So let's play it here. So right here, I wanted to pause. You can't really see it. So it's kind of like a good thing, kind of a bad thing for installers. I believe right through this center right here, there's a gusset, and there's actually another gusset right here on these sections. There's just a little bit, like I said, if you get the garage door, they're just not as refined as the Wayne Dalton. They don't have the ribbed, they don't have the grooves in them. It's a little bit wavy. You can actually see the gussets on the backside. So they're just not quite as refined. Now, I can't say with certain, but I'm pretty sure you got meat all the way through there. So if you ever want to put a strut on there, you got meat in there to hit the whole way across, which is nice structurally. And if you're doing a wider door, it's just something to keep in mind. You know, if you want, you can put struts on every section. Just order it that way. Don't add them on later. It needs to be engineered that way with springs and whatnot. So, you know, this is fine. You can see he's got his little bottom bracket on here, his handle. There's meat in there to hit with the Safeway. So that's kind of nice. But like I said, the backside's just not quite as refined as the Wayne Dalton. And it looks like our R value might be down. This is a 2-inch thick door. It says on there, I think at 10 something. I think the Wayne Dalton was higher. So, like I said, more of a workhorse. Let me go back for just a second here on that. But you can see right here, right? This is beautiful. He's got a nice garage door opener bracket on there. We got a strut in the middle, especially if you guys are doing bigger doors. You got to have a strut at the top for that opener to be yanking on, pulling on that puppy. You got to have one in the center because that door over time will get metal fatigue, and that's the death of them. If it's me and you don't mind extra struts, put a strut on each section. Put one on this bottom one. Put on the one that, well, he's already got one in the middle here, intermediate. Put one on the next one, and the top one's got one. It's overkill, but if it's engineered that way and the springs are designed, you know, but at least minimum, got to have one at the top, one in the middle, especially on something 16x7. You guys let me know too, my seasoned vets, anything over a certain size, you got to do the 2 struts because you won't be good.
Remember,
what I wanted to also add here is see, we don't see it's, I don't remember I believe on the Safeway, it's a metal with the rubber in there. It's just more clean. It's up underneath. It's uniform. You don't see nothing on the back side. You don't see nothing on the front side. And you might see the little silver, or they might even do the plastic one, but they're just a little more refined in the bottom seals. So, you know, me and my bottom seal.
quality comes from experience. So choose 5-star doors at your garage door company.
So there you go. I mean, we kind of got, you know, we've talked about the Wayne Dalton 8300. We got the Safeway. And like I said, any of my seasoned vets or anybody that's got any kind of information on it, you know, please put them in the comments below. I know I didn't cover, there's stuff I missed. But like I said, it's a great looking door. I don't think you're going to be horribly wrong. I think you're going to be better off than going with the 9000 series. If you can afford the 8500, I would definitely go with it. It's just the bottom seal. Remember, it's going to be a U shape, and you're going to actually see a little bit more black on the bottom because it's a cup than you will, like, let's say on this Safeway Model 65. So just some things to think about. Like I said, just remember you get good hinges. If there's any upgrades or heavier duty, especially when you're going 16x7 or bigger, go with better hinges. All these things are like another 20, 30 bucks. It's well worth it, right? You got the gross stock. You're pretty much right there. If there's anything else, you know, dual springs, operator bracket, struts, those little things. And if you guys have any questions, just hit me up in the email. Like I said, shoot a comment below. I read them all, and I'll do my best to try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. If not, we got a great group here that loves to help, and I appreciate every one of them. I really do. So, anywho, I'm going to tune out. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember to keep your fingers. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button on the way out if you don't mind. Become a subscriber, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.